So I'm Chris.
Jody.
And we live in Hyde, Wisconsin. Well, we should start by saying we moved here about a year ago, and the prior farm had all been burnt down. So we didn't have any storage facilities on the property. So the first and most important thing was to get a utility building constructed so we could house the basic equipment that we need to keep the place up. The building is a 30 by 40 building with a concrete apron on the front, which was important for drainage standpoint, as well as a porch on the north side. A special feature of the building is the flying gable on the front, which provides a little bit of cover, but mostly it's an architectural distinguishing feature. We also had high windows put on the south side of the building to let natural light in. I would say the other feature that turns out to be very important for us, and it was recommended by the person that we consulted about building the building, a family member who has a Cleary building, that we put a rear door, garage door, that allows great cross ventilation through the building, and it also provides great access for the smaller vehicles, the lawnmower and the ATVs and things like that. The driveway into the house in the barn here is a half-mile long. So that dictates we have a certain amount of equipment to maintain the road, both in the spring during the rains, which means grading the road, as well as more obviously in the winter when we have to keep it plowed. So we have a plow attachment, a grader attachment for our utility tractor. It's a small tractor, but it does need to be kept indoors in order to keep it in good shape and to service it. The other vehicles that we have for just getting around the property is a four-wheel ATV, two-person ATV, smaller lawnmowers for maintaining the property, and then our other assorted toys that we like to keep under roof.
Well, we had a couple of thoughts before we got started. One was just hiring a general contractor and building a traditional barn, and then we also looked at some of the pole barn companies, including Cleary and some of Cleary's competitors. And right away, Cleary stood out because one of the major competitors never followed through, basically said, call us after you've done the groundwork. We're like, well, we don't even know if we want to choose you or not. So once we met Jay, he just came with so many suggestions and really looked around the property, helped us site it well. And then we had a couple iterations to really get the design just how we wanted it, and consider, again, the features of our property and where the barn would go best. And, Cleary just continually was supportive and listened to what we were looking for, and in addition to us figuring out what we wanted, brought some additional suggestions which we could take or not. So it was a very collaborative process.
Yeah, well, the Cleary project manager was great. It also was nice that he lived in the general vicinity. He was here frequently, both in arranged visits as well as just stop-bys to check on how things were going, where he wasn't necessarily needing us to be around. The crew itself was amazing. They were always here by 6:30 in the morning. They got started no later than 7 every day. They went very quickly. I think the construction process, once the site was ready and the concrete pad was down and foundation walls were up, the crew worked here maybe 4 or 5 days and had the building completed. They every day left the site very clean. They picked up every day and pretty much put things where I asked them to store them while the construction was going on, such that nothing was ever in our way getting in and out of the property here, as the main drive runs right in front of the building. I'd have to say that, again, the project manager from Cleary just did a great job of keeping us informed of every step of the way. He was always telling us, this is what's going to happen tomorrow, the next day. Whenever he made a comment about, well, we're going to do this, providing the weather permits, even if the weather wasn't fully cooperative, somehow he managed to work around the weather, and the project never fell off schedule. And we were just almost astounded at how well the Cleary team delivered the building, even ahead of schedule of what we would have expected.
I would absolutely recommend Cleary, and I would suggest they give Jay a call. Again, I think we were real impressed with the experience in engineering the site. That was really important to us because we get a lot of big winds around here and just weather. And I think that was a deciding factor. And then just, again, the step-by-step helping us, brainstorming with us kind of all the features and getting it to just the way we'd want it to function as well as look. I just think Cleary stands above in terms of how well the whole process went.
I would just add that given the locale where we are, which is close to the Cleary headquarters, we have the unique opportunity to see lots of different buildings that exist in the area where we could go and get ideas. And our salesman, Jay from Cleary, was able to point us to buildings that we should drive by and take a look at, both looking at color schemes as well as features on the building, as well as siding. And virtually every feature that went into our building, we were able to see live in another building within a 30, 40 mile radius of here. So Cleary obviously is doing a great business and a great job. The company is the people that you meet. And to a person, everyone from Cleary that we had the chance to interact with have been very professional, very personable, and people you would like to, go to a cookout with.